It is to be here to see this car again, and Bob McConnell and his wife Diane take great care of it, and I have a great deal of affection for this car. It's a spectacular day this has been.
It's spectacular because of all the cars we have, the people that brought them, and folks like you that make this very, very special. We're thrilled to see you here. How long has it been since you were in this car?
Oh, it's been a few years, but I've been lucky enough to see it from time to time, and it's always a thrill.
What was your top speed when you qualified in Indianapolis with this car?
I qualified at a 4-lap average of 188 and something, but in practice I had it up to 190. Unfortunately, I dinged the wall with the right front, and since it was a prototype, there weren't any spares, and it was all a great melodrama leading up to qualifying day.
Well, you beat a lot of the boys, the big boys. They didn't necessarily like that, but you were successful. You broke all the gender barriers, raced at Daytona and NASCAR. Terry Adderley is here this weekend. He sponsored you in the Kelly Services race car that ran at MIS, and I remember seeing you run there in that car.
Yes, I had a great deal of fun in the Kelly Girl Chevrolet. I really enjoyed NASCAR drafting and the slingshot as it was back then. They don't do that anymore. But of course back then, Indianapolis was said to be the only race. And to have put this car in the field in an era where 80 or 90 cars were entered and only the fastest 33 would start the race. And once competition was Mario Andretti and Dayton White and Connie Rutherford, well, it was a different era.
It was a different era, but you led Indianapolis at one point, as I recall.
No, I never even lead at Indianapolis. The only car I had, with all due respect to this car, it was a prototype with what they call a rising rate rear suspension, a very tricky car to drive. Gave you no notion where the edge was. The only car I really had a chance of running up front end was the 79 car. And that unhappily had 4 burned pistons after the first lap for reasons that are simply the mystery.
Was it Daytona that you led at one point? Daytona 500?
Oh, let's see, Ontario. It was the NASCAR Cup race, Winston Cup as it was back then in Ontario, where I led 5 laps.
Made all the boys behind you real happy to see you up front. And yes?
I just want to remark that back then, initially the notion was that letting a woman on the racetrack in one of these cars was going to result in multiple fatalities for all the other drivers. But if your position is that this is a woman, therefore this is a no-good race driver, and then the no-good race driver blows your doors off, what does that make you? So there's cognitive dissonance there. What I really enjoyed the most was the great change in attitude on the part of the other drivers after they got the experience of running against me.
Did Cale Yarborough ever come around?
Oh yeah, he did. Let's see, there's a quote from him in my book, I think. She is made it in what he thought of as the most competitive racing series in the world. And yeah, Cale, oh well, there.
You finally got the point that you were a great driver. And I understand that you were thinking of applying to NASA to become the first female astronaut.
Oh, well, that preceded the racing. That was when I was working as an engineer in the aerospace business. And oh, that was been the great adventure of the 20th century.
Another all-boys endeavor that you almost cracked. Thank you, Janet. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Janet Guthrie. Raced this car in Indianapolis in 1977. We're thrilled that Janet's here. The car is here from the collection of Bob McConnell in Urbana, Ohio. Bob, thank you for the time and effort to bring this car for our show today.
It's my pleasure to do that. It's a great show, a great venue here in Falls, and thank you kindly. Glad to bring that and have Janet there as a feature for this.
Very, very special moment.
Thank you.
And we want to thank Carter Crompton right behind you. Thank you, Carter. The man that put this all together, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Carter Crompton, with the help. Let me introduce to you our crew. Crew Chief from Urbana, Ohio, Bob McConnell, and this is his car. Chassis Engineer from Marco Island, Florida, Andy Susky. Andy. Body Technician from Troy, Michigan, Joe Sting. Logistics Expert from Osceola, Indiana, Chuck Creech. Chassis Engineer from Ortonville, Michigan, Bill Davis. Assistant Crew Chief from Lansing, Michigan, Dave Schlegel. Tire Changer from Owasso, Michigan, Larry Osley. Tire Changer from Traverse City, Michigan, Fred Berth. Chassis Engineer from Clio, Michigan, Tom Nealons. Fuel Man from Clio, Michigan, Carter Crompton Jr. And ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause, please, for the man that made this all happen. Got Janet here, the race car, the whole team. There is a display that's going to be up the hill a little bit, a toolbox. Ladies and gentlemen, the man that did it all, Mr. Carter Crompton. Thank you, Carter. You do this every year, and I know you take it very personally and get emotional about it, but thank you for the contribution and the effort that you made.
Thank you.
And he's a man of few words, but a lot of action. Thank you very much, Bob. Great to have you here with the car. And Janet, it's always a thrill. Now we're going to have a question and answer period and a little meet and greet coming up very shortly with Janet Guthrie. If you'd like to say hello, she will be here to talk to any and all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed the day, enjoyed the cars. It's been a thrill to see all of you here and have our cars and our sponsors that make this all possible. Thank you very much. And to our judges and our festival director, Barbara Parkin, the one with the camera. Barbara, you should be out here with a photo with Janet Guthrie. Come on.